Hey girls, welcome back to the For Real Real. Ducky here, and Danielle and Heidi and I are really excited to bring you part 2 of episode 1. If you caught the first episode, it aired on Valentine's Day with our hubbies. Make sure you go back and watch that episode if you have not already. But without further ado, here's the rest of that conversation.
We're pretty good there.
Dane's love language is physical touch and words of physical touch, words of affirmation, quality time. I think they're kind of all intertwined.
Bring them all on.
Yeah, I think for him, definitely. Wait.
Heidi's is acts of service. So
when he's like washing dishes and doing the laundry, and I'm like in the room and I can hear him doing all these things, I'm like, oh, is that what's gonna happen tonight?
Ulterior motives?
No ulterior motives. Not anymore, anyway. There used to be, but
No, but I just think that that it is acts of service. I have a little bit of OCD, so I love a clean home, and so like when he participates in that, it really gets me excited.
yeah. For the longest time, I was always on the thought pattern of I have kids, so I shouldn't have to do anything. That's what they're here for. They're supposed to do the dishes and take out the trash and sweep the floor and do all.
Because then that's how you're raised, right? When you're young, I mean.
Right. So that's how we was raised, and she kept reminding me, it's like, yeah, but you can see like it don't work anymore. And I always
chores.
Yeah, but I always see her doing it all. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna ease the load and do my part in the house, because if I go after the kids, then that's just gonna cause a whole new situation that I'm trying to avoid.
So the word says that our husbands are our protectors, our providers, and our priests, right? But sometimes some men, and I will just say this, they believe that being the provider is just the sole responsibility and not really being so involved in the home. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think those days are old days. This is the old way of thinking, before, because I've been through the Men's 33 series. This is my second time going through, and in the beginning of the series, you learn that before, like in the 60s, 70s, that's what the husbands would do. They just go off to work. The wives stay home. They take care of the home. They take care of the kids and the house and all of that. And that's the two part of a marriage that was founded back then. That's all the husband had to worry about, is going to work and providing. But nowadays it's different, because now we have women that can provide also. So if they're out there doing their part and we're out there doing our part, it's the home that's taking the brunt of it. So if I come home and I'm all, I work today, I don't have to do anything, and she went off to work and she comes home and she's like, well, now I got to do all of this. It's like, it don't seem fair to me. So when I come home now, it's sort of like, I was telling my group that, we prepare ourselves for work mentally. If we're going into a job site or whatever, we got to mentally prepare ourselves. We got to think about the things that is coming up, the people we have to address, the meetings, the whatever we have to do that day. I said, we got to mentally prepare ourselves to come home too.
So good.
If we don't mentally prepare ourselves to come home, and we think that, I'm just going to come home and relax and stuff like that, and you come home to crying kids and to homework that's got to get done, and the wife still didn't, fix dinner yet, and all these things going on, it's like, what are you going to do? Are you just going to get lost in that chaos and blow up about it? Or are you going to jump in and help out and help ease the load? And I felt that way is the avenue to go for me. because it helps a lot. And plus, the benefits afterwards is good.
Yeah. And just to touch up on that, it's great for the marriage, you two guys helping out each other, but it's more for setting the future expectations of the kids. And I was big on that too, like the kids used to get it from me, man, our kids. Like I used to drill them, like do this, do that. But if we're not doing it ourselves, how can we tell them to do something? Exactly. And as leaders of the household, we gotta, gotta lead. And that's in every aspect, not just providing, but doing the dishes, the small thing. Yeah. Everybody thinks just providing is the big thing, but it's always the small things that add up. So just a little life hack for you West Side boys.
Shepherd is so good, you guys. He'll work all day and he doesn't have an easy, infield job. And he'll come home and cook and clean and do it all.
Yeah, I'm just kind of seeing the benefits of it, man. My 4-year-old, we do Costco runs. This guy is unloading side by side. Our 21-year-olds, they sit on the couch and watch us do them. And I tell them, back in the days, you guys would get dirty lickings right where you guys sitting,
So we have 6 kids, right? So our 4 oldest, they know what dirty lickings is. Our 2 youngest, has no idea.
Yeah.
And then when the 4 oldest, we have, family dinner or special occasion, they're looking at us like, what is going on here?
Heidi, for the non-Hawaii viewers, please explain what dirty lickins is.
Dirty lickings.
Right. Discipline. Under control.
No. Dirty lickings.
There's abuse.
It's child abuse.
And you know what?
Nowadays, it's child abuse.
Nowadays, it's child abuse. Yeah. It's like, you know what? And I want to just touch on that really quick. I mean, I had shared, right, I was not the best mom with one of our daughters. And definitely that's one thing I do regret. And hurt people, and my brokenness overflowed upon her. You know what I mean? But lickings, I mean, I really believe that there is an absolute imbalance nowadays. There is no discipline. Everybody is trying to be so extra careful about don't spank your kids or gentle parenting. And this is the real, okay? So I'm going to tell you right now, gentle parenting does not work because children who are not disciplined at a young age will become chaotic adults.
Yes.
And that is why they become adults who do crazy things because there's no discipline.
And they feel entitled.
Yes.
That's biblical, too.
Yeah.
Discipline led by the rod.
Yes,
right.
It is biblical. It is. And I mean, I got dirty lickings. Dirty lickings. Cracks. Remember that. Hashtag dirty lickings. And I turned out great.
Same here.
And we all have. But you have to have forms of discipline.
Or it sets boundaries.
Yes.
Because then your kids understand how far they can go.
Yeah.
And that as they're growing up, they need a certain level of respect, not only for their parents, but for grown-ups in general.
Community.
That is lacking nowadays so severely that these younger generations think that they can just act how they want to act to the older generation and not get repercussions for it. It's taking a toll on our society, to where before, you walk into a house, you better tell everybody hi.
Yep.
You better greet your aunties, your uncles, and everybody that's older than you, your grandparents and stuff like that. Nowadays, kids will walk in and just walk by everybody, sit down and jump on their phone. And it's like,
Wild.
yeah, that's just,
That was
it's just disrespectful. And they don't even understand that,
Yep.
that it's disrespectful because it doesn't get backed up from their parents. Like, you need to go tell you, I don't even know them. It doesn't matter. I mean, I'm telling you, that's your auntie, that's your uncle. So go tell them hi.
Well, and I think too, it teaches them like we all answer to someone, and that's biblical authority, leadership.
Yeah.
And communication skills.
Absolutely.
Just how to work and talk with people.
Yeah.
I mean, that's something that's diminishing, unfortunately.
That definitely is like
Yeah.
on the verge of extinction, right? Because everybody is constantly like this. So we have, I don't know what some of your rules are, but we're blessed. We eat dinner together. We try our best to always eat dinner together as a family and things like that. But when we go out, there is no phones allowed on the table.
Mhm.
And we notice like our kids will walk up to us and they're like, Mom, that whole fam, nobody's talking to each other in the restaurant. They're all at the table and everybody's like this. And that really makes me sad because, my tutu taught me that conversation, the art of conversation, that's where life happens. That's where you learn, like, how was your day? What's going on? What you going through? And you learn about each other. And that's just doing life, like you said. But it's really sad to see that is not the standard anymore in fam, is to have conversations.
I think that's one of the harder things for us to manage right now is just when you have so much going on at all times. And like how we say, you a little bit leads to a lot of it, right? And then, we always come back to this place of, all right, we're not gonna have any phones at the table, or it'll be only if it's a business something you can right? Stipulation, right? Yeah, but it is really hard to set those boundaries and you're not gonna be popular for it.
Yeah.
But one thing I can tell you for sure, it's always a heck of a lot better or easier to enforce when the husband and wife are on the same page.
Exactly. Lead by example.
Again,
No.
comes back to that, yeah. Lead by example.
I gotta circle back to this though for the sensitive people watching. Don't think that discipline is giving your kids dirty lickings.
No. There's a balance.
No.
Yeah, guys. Yeah, find you guys' own form of discipline, whether that's taking away the phones, or grounded.
The physical workout.
It's a punishment, but it doesn't have to be a physical punishment. It's just for get them to understand that there's consequences to their actions.
Right. There's rewards and consequences.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
But we just have to get that out there.
Thank you for clarifying.
Nobody's reporting this podcast,
Oh, you guys hear about those real ladies? Oh,
Those Christian abusers.
These people of God, what are they?
I never did get dirty lickings.
You never had to.
Yeah.
You were a good girl.
I remember getting spanked one time. I was about 4 or 5. Yes. What? I still remember. I felt so betrayed by my mom. She spanked me. I know. I really was a dream of a child growing up. I was. It was like one of those. I love that, Ducky. But hello, perfectionism. It was like from a young age, it was like.
My one time was once a week at least. And I knew exactly what I did wrong.
Every time.
Warranted. I was still getting dragged out by my hair in high school.
Oh, man.
But I deserved it. I will say that. It's for good reasons.
Okay, but don't give your kids dirty lickings. Okay. Just to be clear.
But
To be clear.
hands of old.
so to circle back, love language. What is my love language? I'm testing you.
Yeah, these physical.
It's very true. Okay.
Got some massages.
All 5.
I think yours is definitely quality time. But you're such an acts of service guy. Every day, just serving me so well. I think my weakness is like honestly keeping a clean home. Is that my strength? Yeah, babe.
Yeah, but we can justify that. Green Dad's so busy schedule. Like our schedule is always so crazy. I'm sure you guys understand too. So
Well, that's why you haven't seen the other rooms in this house, because this is the.
that's how we are too. When people come, I'll just stuff things in the garage or in the other.
We're gonna be in.
Well, we can't help it, man. God has blessed our lives.
We are very busy.
Made us all busy people and entrepreneurs, business owners, and yeah, it's awesome.
I think one lesson that I had, because I have my own business, and then during the pandemic, he was like, oh, what are you going to do now? right? Because everything got shut down. And he was like, I think God is saying that you need to like get on board with me. And I literally kicked and screamed and cried for like at least a couple weeks. And, threw a tantrum, walked up and down the hallway, and I was like, no, God, what about my business, my business, my business? And when I finally gave in and I said, okay, God, your will be done, I really learned that unity commands a blessing. We thrived so much so during the pandemic, financially, spiritually, I mean, in every area, that I began kind of feeling guilty because you hear stories, right, of other families who were struggling so bad, especially financially. But then God gave me a revelation and said, you know what, though, I'm allowing you to thrive and be blessed so that you can be a blessing. And it was during that time I not only learned that unity commands a blessing, a unity between the two of us, we were able to know what our strengths and weaknesses were and giving grace to one another in that, lifting each other up in that also. But then we were able to bless many other families in that as well. And still learning, how to communicate in business together.
Yeah.
But really giving, I think grace is super important for us in our business, and giving each other lots of grace.
Yeah, because it's usually not what you say, but how you say it that sets the tone.
How many times did you go through 33 men now?
It's my second time. I'm actually gonna start my own
Wow.
group right after this is done.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's so good. We need more men leaders, right, that can pour into other men, because I think, especially, I mean, you guys know this because you guys are in men's group, but just the lack of vulnerability, I think, that men naturally have, and also lack of communication and lack of trust in other people to really get vulnerable. But I think that's where kind of a lot of the magic happens, when you can be vulnerable and kind of share and open up. And then when you get into these groups, you realize like, oh, wow, I'm not as messed up as they are or whatever.
What? She just did. She said the real.
I don't think that's the objective of the group.
We're still winning.
I think
For people who don't go into those groups, because that's what they're thinking.
Yeah.
Like,
Actually, what I came to find is that there's guys out there that I can glean off of. Like what they're doing in their marriages now, like my friend Rich Carvalho and what he's doing with his wife. Sorry, you know who I'm talking about. But that guy is amazing in the way that he's turned his life around and how he supports his family, and it all comes from the love of having the love of God in his life first. You know what I mean? And that group that we have is such a breath of fresh air to me, because I always felt like I was alone a long time. And I do have friends, and I love my friends, but it's hard to relate to them when they don't have a relationship or sex. And they rely on other things to dull the pain
To get
or
through it.
whatever it is. But to have guys that be like encouraging you to, I'm gonna pray for you, or this is what needs to be done or needs to be said for you to understand what you're going through. And I'm like, wow, I needed to hear that. So men's groups are really important, and I encourage all you got men out there to get into men's group, because those are the true guys that's gonna care for you and be there for you when things go down.
I feel like wives were super supportive, but only men can sharpen men.
yeah.
They're, only men can speak into men's life in that way. What were you gonna say, Reno?
No, I agree. Men's group is critical.
Mm-hmm.
It's good to be able to share with other believers that are men that, it's not I mean, I totally understand what you meant by that statement, but it's good for us to know that other men are going through things similar, sometimes worse,
Yes.
you know, and it can always flip. You know, this guy could be going through something really bad, and then you're going through something really bad, but you're there to support each other through it. It's
That's more
super important.
eloquently said. Thank you.
You're being real.
Yeah. Heidi, I love what you said about how like we're really supportive, but it's gonna take another man, another person with that masculinity and that strength to really sharpen them and challenge them in other ways for growth. And like that's one area I think, well, I'll speak for myself, but like there are 3 very strong entrepreneurial driven women in this room, right? And you mentioned, Chevin, you have a competitive spirit, right? And like I think that's one area where I agree with you. When there's unity, God commands a blessing. Like he just has certain laws. And the one thing I've always done is take direction from my husband and come under his authority. You know, when I think about it, God's at the top, then my husband, then me, then the family. And I don't mean in terms of value and worth.
Right.
I mean in terms of authority. And that is one thing, ladies, like God has a purpose and a plan for every single person. But when you are faithful to God and you come under the authority of your husband and he's hearing from the Lord, he is always going to bless you guys. He's going to bless your family. That is his law, you know, and that's just a word of encouragement for some people that might be in that just needed to hear it.
Yeah, that's good.
And you know what? Just kind of gleaning off of that, because we are under the authority of our husbands. And for some, I'll be honest, for me, I speak for me, you know, that was kind of difficult because I've always, since I was young, since I was little, I've always blazed my own trail, raised myself up pretty much, right? So to have to learn to be under the authority, which I'm still learning. And now he's also my pastor and, you know, all these different things. It's not to say that God doesn't have a dream for you as individuals, as a husband and as a wife. Thus, look at the For Real. You know what I mean? It's something, a vision that God had given us women, and then our husbands came along and we could not do it without them either. And that support is so important, so important. But I do believe it is because ultimately we fall under the spiritual authority of our husbands that we are able to do what we do. We work alongside of them in their businesses, our businesses, and then we're also able to do what God created it and called us to do individually, because we'll all impact a different arena in what he's calling us to do.
So good. I don't mean to get off topic, but you guys get to see this every evening?
This is deep puzzle. Well, this is an ultra special one. Look at that.
Easy, right?
Bow.
Look at that.
That is a blessing. That's a green flasher. And for those of you who don't even know what we're looking at, this is the most beautiful, the west side has the most beautiful sunsets, So if you've never been to the west side, you need to come and visit the west side.
And west side, we're talking about Oahu, Waianae,
Oahu.
to be specific. And are we all west siders in here?
Yeah. Baby.
Most people don't think I'm a West Sider, but I am a thoroughbred.
There is going to be a green flash. You ever haven't seen the green flash, this will be a green flash moment.
Oh my gosh, what? I've never seen flashes. What?
No?
You just have to stare until your eyes cross, and then
Really a flash. That's where people, there's just a 1 second where it turns green right at the end. Like it's already turning green. Like this one is really unique.
wow, you know God made this for us.
Yeah, right here.
Doing
That's like, or you because you're green.
your feet.
Yeah.
Don't blink. No, don't blink.
3, there, 2.
There it is.
There. Oh, amazing.
When have I seen it?
She has bad eyes, babe.
Okay, sorry.
Maybe Pono can put in a sunset with a green flag.
All right. Well, I think we're almost coming to our time here. But before we wrap up, I just wanted to throw like a fun question out there, because I feel like my love language is actually laughter. Like I'll just bust a joke just to laugh for no reason, or just laugh to myself.
The joy of the Lord is your strength, Danielle.
Okay.
Well, just make up your own.
Yeah, I did.
Now you have 6 over there. Yeah, 6 other language. I gotta remember that. Humor.
No, but you make me laugh every day. So yeah, so what is your Okay, so the question is, how do you balance humor and seriousness in your relationship? Because we're all very serious people running businesses.
Right? Why are you asking this?
Because humor is important. Silence is important, right?
No, just kidding.
Heidi's like, no, really, we're funny people.
And not everybody has to answer, but whoever feels led and wants to answer the question, great. If not, we have one more last question to wrap it up.
I think it's just having fun. It's just having fun together. It doesn't need to be necessarily humor. Right. It's just a matter of enjoying each other's company and having fun, even when you're doing work. Like, that's why I like to just go drive with you.
It's so far active. It's the fine, baby.
It's fun.
Yeah, it's so important. I mean, in a marriage, you're going to be together for a long time. And all the beauty and all those things, the luster is, it starts to diminish over time. You got to be really good friends. You got to enjoy each other's company. When you go travel somewhere, you want to be with someone that you like to travel with and enjoy their time together. And so I think for us, I mean, I tell her all the time, like, I have so much fun with you. And,
That's so awesome.
especially when it's just us. No, I mean, the kids, we love to take the kids, but our time one-on-one when we go somewhere, like, I really enjoy that time with my wife.
So when you can just, like when you get into a really comfortable chair and you just feel like, so comforted, right? That's how it feels when it can just be us together. And I feel like, especially when we travel, we can just turn off everything and just enjoy being with each other. And like, there is nothing I want to discover without him. Like that sunset, you guys are bonus, but like if I could just watch every sunset with this guy, that would be amazing. Well, that might be an overstatement, but for the most part.
Yeah. So it's having fun together.
It is, yeah.
So fun is driving and
No, it's together. Yeah, being together,
that's fun.
having fun. Yeah.
I think for me, I feel the same way at times too, like just us two sometimes being together, that comfort feeling. But my true joy just comes when we're all together with the kids and we're all a family and we're all joking around and we're all laughing at each other. Not with each other, at each other. Because we have this weird sense of humor.
Yes.
There's something right there. They all have a weird sense of humor. I'm like the only one. Like, I don't get jokes, and then they're like, oh my gosh, the joke is not even funny anymore. Like, I don't get jokes. All my kids and my husband, they all have just this.
They have my sense.
Yes, they all have dad's sense of humor, and I'm just looking at all
All
of
is it sarcastic? And it kind of is, but it's funny. So,
But I like our car rides too. Yeah, definitely. We do a lot of car rides, but I think it's like opposite. He drives, I work. And then he DJs too.
Oh, nice.
And so, we come from a time when dancing was everything. And so, sometimes we like to jump in the car and we drive out this way and he plays jams while I'm like doing my work. And then sometimes I got to remind myself, okay, be present constantly. Be present, be present, be present. Do you have to answer that email right now? No, I don't.
But you could tell me how fast I'm going.
But yeah, I think, just it's a constant, just finding joy wherever you can, when you can, with each other.
For me, I just be going back to quality time, man. My wife is my sanctuary. Shucks. I don't tell her enough, but I just love when it's just me and her. Like I can have the busiest schedule in the world, but once I lay down next to my wife, it's like I just mindless. Like I just love our quality time together. Like that makes my world go round. So I really love quality time.
Yeah.
And the humor?
Yeah, humor.
How's the humor
Oh
coming?
gosh.
I'm a jokester, man.
See,
That joke. You guys are joking.
I joke at everything and everybody. I sorry, God, Bart. Ain't perfect. I ain't perfect, but
what we joke about. It's like, you guys are nasty, but it's so fun.
Now I know who to send my YouTube short videos to.
Ducky doesn't have that sense of humor. Like, there is no being nasty or dirty. She's just like, yeah. She doesn't find any of that funny.
I'm like, call me Heidi because I don't get it. No, it's okay. I don't get it either.
Yeah, we're just really raw too, so we don't really filter our words.
Yeah.
So if you're like trying, you know, like how you're trying to get romantic and you're trying to entice your partner, we just ask the question. So what, you like the?
I told you, unfiltered.
16 ounces.
I'm taking cues from my husband here. Right on, you're supposed to mediate.
It's the real.
Well, and we're gonna learn with Pastor Lisa when we go there that there is a very, very important and powerful part of a marriage is that intimacy and not taking each other too seriously. Oh my God, no.
Oh, not take each other so serious.
You know when you're married to Mr. Sarcasm,
You can't
I
take it
don't.
seriously.
Yeah, but I don't get it a lot of times. I'm like, huh? I don't get it.
I'd be like, never mind.
I joke so much with my kids, and she don't even know when I'm joking or being serious. But sometimes there's a flaw because I could be mad and like really proving a point, and he'd be like, "You joking or you serious?" I'm like, "What you think? You like a slap?"
Again, are you joking?
No, but I almost feel like that's your way of dealing with conflict too. Sometimes it goes from like the sarcasm and then it's getting a little bit like more angry and more dark. And I'm like, wait a minute, this is crossing over into something. And then I recognize that, oh, you're really upset. But it's like, instead of him just saying, you know what, we need to talk about something, you know, this is really bothering me, he'll just kind of like throw comments out there. And then it just gets so, but I picked up on it.
Yeah, so I gotta get better at that. I can have confrontational, like discussions, but sometimes like I try to dodge the conflict. But I guess without conflict, there's no story. Yeah,
Right?
Wow.
so.
That is a good one. Without conflict, there's a story.
I'm surprised you so often talk about healthy conflict, right? So we got to learn how to fight fair.
Okay, so last thing, because you guys have, I'll leave it to you OGs just to kind of leave our audience with just like one nugget. You guys have already dropped a lot of like golden nuggets, wisdom from God. But if there's anything that you can share with the audience, because there's a lot of broken marriages, like we talked about earlier, a lot of hurting people. Maybe somebody's thinking of divorce right now. People are going through stuff and, you guys have stood the test of time. So I really want to kind of throw that out to you guys. And, what would you like to share with a husband or a wife, or what is that like last final word of encouragement?
I think Heidi touched on it. The data, the facts, like, I don't know if you guys have heard these figures, but like, I think in the secular world, the non-believer marriages is over 50% divorce rate, right? And Christians as a whole in the community, I believe it's only 2% better. And then 2%, sadly to say to our viewers. However, what they say is husbands and wives that pray together on a daily basis, it's less than 10% divorce rate.
Wow.
Yeah. So I think that's one of the ways that we need to arm ourselves with, as married Christian husbands and wives, praying together daily is a way that we can really guard our marriage.
Yeah.
And that then, that's how you bring God into the marriage literally in that moment. So good.
So what is prayer for maybe people who are watching that are non-Christians? I mean, what is prayer?
Prayer is having a conversation with God.
Yeah.
Having a conversation with him and just opening up to him about how you feel about your marriage and where you want it to go and how you want God to be the center of that, because that's the only way that it will truly work out, is if he's in the center. A lot of the times that I've talked to couples, and we even did the marriage group thing at church too. So what I would remind them is, because the world always looks at a marriage as 50-50. You come in 50-50. right? And I say, I would always tell them, no, a marriage is 100-100. Because if you only come in at 50-50, you're leaving 50% out. And there's a void that needs to be filled. So if you come in at 100-100, you're actually overlapping what they could be lacking. And that's what's going to help out your relationship. And that overlapping includes prayer. So when you overlap them with prayer, when you quench them with the word, especially every morning, that's why I started a daily devotional about praying for my wife. And sometimes I'll send her the text of that prayer, or I'll just pray for her before I leave the house, because she leaves before me. So I'll do that. And I just started doing that recently, like in the past month or so. And it's funny because
I didn't know he was doing
she
that.
didn't know. And maybe like after a week into it, she's coming home and she's like, I don't know what it is, but I'm so attracted to you.
I know what your parents were.
It's working, God. It's working.
And, there's 2 books that I would recommend for husbands and wives, and it's The Power of a Praying Husband and The Power of a Praying Wife. And like you shared, prayer is so vital to the health of your marriage. And something that we just started doing too is, praying every night. We always pray, but it would be random. I don't want to say we just started, but being consistent, I guess you could say, is praying every night before we go to bed, cleansing ourselves from sometimes the people that we've talked to or things that maybe have tried to attach themselves to us. So praying a cleansing prayer together every night before bed, and in the morning praying together, and even praying the Lord's Prayer. Coming to the Father is so simple.
Yeah.
Instead of this long agenda of a prayer.
Yeah.
But yeah, prayer is vital. I think that as a wife, there is definitely a role to play, and you're going to be like that measure of how healthy your marriage is, how healthy, your whatever it is. Like for me, I always try to be that what's that thing that the neutralizer with Rhino. I try to diffuse situations. I know how much he deals with. Like the last thing that I need to be is something else that is going to just add one more thing to his plate, right? So I think that, and even though it annoys him, I do take it very seriously that I'm a voice of reason sometimes, and I just help him think through things.
Process.
He has a very driven entrepreneurial spirit. He gets excited about things, and I just am that little test sometimes, like, okay, so have you been in prayer? What has God said to you? But I think just being that barometer and helping them to really think in a way that's not
Nagging.
naggy.
That's important. No man wants a nagging wife. No, I just gotta say it. But she comes in a spirit of just like, have you really considered this or thought about that? Have you been in prayer?
Right.
And it just gives me that, oh yeah, that's right. I haven't really spent time
What is God
in prayer. And yeah.
But trust. As soon as he says, yes, I heard from God, then it's trust. You have to trust your husband. No.
Good.
Shucks, yeah. For me, I was just attitude of gratitude, guys. That's all I can really say. There's a lot of things you can, sweat. We all face it. The financial burdens, a rough day at work, employees, coworkers upsetting you. But just remembering the good things in your life, being grateful for that goes a long way. In your marriage, your personal life, and your relationship with Christ definitely strengthens. So just a attitude for gratitude.
That's so good.
Very good. All right. Well, follow us on Instagram. We will highlight that on the screen when it's ready. And stay tuned. We have more episodes coming up. What's the next episode following our first episode?
So the next episode is going to be the Kingdom Build Beauty Culture. Mm-hmm. And then after that, we're going to reset, coming into the end of Q1. We're going to get focused. We're going to get motivated again. We're going to keep on driving and striving.
And then there's a really excited season coming up. We're going to be talking with Pastor Lisa about intimacy. The next time we have these guys on the show, though, I really think that we're going to have some conversations going into business, because I think that is a focus where there are many husbands and wives trying to figure out how the heck to do it, and how to do it successfully, and how to do it without killing each other. So the next time you see these guys, we're going to be diving deep into that.
So good.
Awesome.
So good. Very cool.